there was a case I was involved in, and I kind of ran amok with some supervisors, and it was a couple officers were involved in a shooting of a gang member, and so if I kind of give you the whole picture. These guys were very aggressive cops, and they were involved in a couple other things as well. And I had a supervisor and a prosecutor that was basically making a run on them, trying to prosecute them. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, there was this Samoan gang had a contract out for these guys as well. And so
On the cops?
On the cops. That was the part that I was investigating. And the sergeant and the prosecutor, they were doing a criminal investigation against them. And anyways, and at that time I'd been working part-time for Paul Allen, who's the co-founder of Microsoft and owned the Seattle Seahawks. And myself and some of the people that you know had been working with him or for him off and on. And then I had the ability to go over there full-time, and so I did. It was a good time to take a break.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about that. So essentially you're doing executive protection.
Yes.
How is that? Because I hear, depending on who you're working for, it could be good, it could be bad, but how was it for you?
You know, long hours, a lot of just tons and tons of prep time, and a lot of travel, and, you know, you have to be able to perform, right? For example, you have to hire the right people, right? And if you hire the wrong people, they're going to make you look bad.
Yeah.
And so vetting contractors and stuff was very, very important. Being able to work with, you know, administrative assistants and event planners was huge. But then you have the whole safety aspect, so you're constantly doing risk assessments, and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't my cup of tea. At the end of the day, sometimes you're nothing more than a concierge, and that
was what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Is how is it working for very rich people that treat you like a servant?
Right.
I mean, is that kind of essentially what it was, or did some of them actually appreciate what you were about?
I felt like Mr. Allen, for example, I feel like he always treated me pretty well, and so, you know, I can kind of tell you a funny story. One time, so he's a big musician, and there's a huge event in New Orleans called Jazz Fest. We had this private stage and stuff set up for him, and it was covered because it's like 100 plus degrees, and he wanted, for whatever reason, he wanted to sit amongst the crowds, right? And so he scrambled and got him some lawn chairs, and he's sitting out just with people. Nobody knows who he is, right? And at the end of Jazz Fest, at the end of the day, we get back to the car, and he goes, John, you look like really sunburned. And I go, yes, Mr. Allen, that probably wouldn't have happened had we sat underneath the shaded balcony that we had arranged for you. And I'll never forget, it was the first time I ever really saw him laugh, because he knew I was pissed. And he just started laughing at me, and then I kind of started laughing, and it was kind of a funny moment. It's like, yeah.
But, you know, working for him, I'm sure you got to travel the world, right?
I did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you go to the Olympics?
I traveled to some places I normally never would have went. So,
yeah. Did you have a favorite place that you went to?
I liked the south of France, like Nice. I really enjoyed that area down there.
How is it, because I'm assuming you're like me, how is it traveling with the ultra wealthy, where I'm assuming you're not on a commercial flight. You're on, you know, private jets, staying in the best of the best. How is that?
You know, it is. That's a huge advantage, but at the end of the day, you're not exactly relaxing.
Right,
either.
you're working.
Yeah.
What's the concern about, like, you know, I think of Paul Allen. He's a billionaire, or he was a billionaire, and is the concern that he's going to get kidnapped?
That's a big concern, or a relative or something. And especially, you look at kidnap and ransom incidents, and yes, they do happen in the United States, but a lot of those things seem to happen abroad, overseas. Yeah. And so those are the big concerns.
Yeah.
Whether it doesn't have to be him, it could be like, his niece, nephew, brother-in-law, sister. It could be a family member or something.